Hey guys, it's Drexel here with Black Hollywood Lies Political Culture. On today's show, we're talking about whether or not the blacks for Bernie are going to be supporting Donald Trump this election. We're going to be talking about the candidates' positions on immigration. And our good friend Mikelen Walker is in the house to talk about his upcoming projects and to do a little performance later on. Stay tuned.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live Political Culture.
Baby, don't you leave.
You got to do like Rihanna.
I know she did. She like rotated it too.
I'm
feeling
like Black Hollywood Live Political Culture. I'm your host, Drexel Heard. You can follow me at Drexel Heard.
Hey guys, you can follow me at Hey It's Lay. What's going on, everybody? You can follow me at Sorrells.
And in the studio today, we've got actor and spoken word artist Mikelen Walker in the house.
Hey.
Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are starting this show off with Rihanna's Work, because she just won that. She was just presented that MTV Vanguard Video Vanguard Award.
Yes.
This
The Michael
weekend.
Jackson
Award.
Yeah, it's like a lifetime achievement.
She had her 3 segments at the VMAs. I thought she was really good.
She had like 4.
She did. She had less time than Beyonce, but she had 4 great segments.
Beyonce could have let her just have her moment that night. Beyonce
totally
took the show for 10 minutes straight.
Beyonce could have let a lot of people have moments, but it's Beyonce.
Exactly.
And I love me some Beyonce. Welcome to the show, guys. We got lots to talk about, lots to get through today, but I want to start the show off by addressing just something really quickly. We get, we're on our 19th episode, which is really great. Next week will be 20, so we'll try to do something
to celebrate.
Something to celebrate.
Something
fun to celebrate.
Absolutely.
We might just switch it up a little bit because this election is kind of weighing down on a lot of people. But one of the things that I just want to make sure that you guys all know is that we're going to get a lot of comments, a lot of different things all the time. I try not to read the comments.
And we encourage it. We encourage
comments
definitely.
all the time, especially on Twitter, on Facebook. We'll always respond to everything that we can. We all have very different opinions up here on the panel. I know some folks think that we might all support Hillary Clinton, but that's not necessarily the case. The primary is very different than the general election. We're all not idiots, so we're all very educated Black folks up on this panel,
right?
And so we don't want that perception of you guys thinking that we don't have opinions just because we have a show. We're going to give you exactly what we think. We know how I feel about Hillary Clinton. We know how B feels about Hillary Clinton. We know how Elayna feels about Bernie Sanders and the state of the election and stuff like that. So we don't want you guys thinking that we're not going to share that opinion and that we're just going to be. We're not journalists.
So why do you bring that up, Drexel?
I'm just bringing it up. I'm just saying that we don't want people to get the wrong impression that we are here for to be journalists. We're not NBC. We're not CBS. We're here to give our opinion on what's happening in politics. So we definitely appreciate all the comments that we get from everybody. So keep them coming, no matter where you sit on the spectrum. And we're not Uncle Tom's. So,
nice way to slide that in there, Drexel.
I just want to throw that out there. All right, so let's. I just want to start also the show off with the primaries. There's some primaries that happened tonight.
Yes.
Marco Rubio won his primary in Florida. He came back from nowhere and was like, "Hey, I'm going to run again."
Yeah.
So he won his primary. He will be up against Patrick Murphy. Patrick Murphy was up against the Democrat. He's going to be the Democratic nominee for this U.S. Senate in Florida. He was up against Alan Grayson, who was the Bernie Sanders-backed candidate for U.S. Senate. So he beat Alan Grayson there, as well as Debbie Wasserman Schultz beat Tim Canova. Tim Canova was the Bernie Sanders-backed candidate in the 23rd district of Florida. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz will likely win her district back. Much dismay to the Bernie Sanders fans who were looking forward to having Debbie Wasserman Schultz out. And Marco Rubio, John McCain, is probably going to look like he's probably going to win his primary in Arizona tonight too. So he is trailing right now in Arizona, which Hillary Clinton is like close.
Yeah,
she's like plus.
She is doing really well,
Trump
actually. I took a peek at it while I was on the way over here.
through my phone. So, obviously I had.
She's like, Trump is like +2
Yeah, I was
in
gonna say, yeah,
Arizona,
he's-
which is crazy. Okay, so last week, Blacks for Bernie founder, his name is Bruce Carter. He kind of came out and he said that he was switching for Trump, or somebody said that he was switching for Trump. So how do you guys feel about Bernie Sanders supporters backing Donald Trump? Oh yeah, that was a sigh.
With
Mikelen.
that, for me, it's fine if they are now supporting Trump because he's speaking truth to their
Right.
opinions or to their perspective. But if they are switching over to go to Trump from Bernie just because they don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton, that's a different story.
Right.
So if they have valid reasons, like, okay, I want to vote for Trump
gonna say
because, this is what he plans to do for us, and I really want this to happen, or whatever the case may be, fine. But if people are switching, people who were very strong Bernie supporters are switching over to Team Trump just because they're the whole Bernie and Hillary feud, then I think that more research needs to be done, and it shouldn't be like a petty
Yeah,
vote.
exactly. Right. You literally took the words in my mouth. I was going to say, because it would be different if, something Trump said sparked something in it, what I'm saying, and their supporter was like, wow, you know what? I really want to go for Trump now, because that's what we want to encourage people to vote for who they feel is, right for them. But if you look at it as far as research wise, it really doesn't make sense for a Bernie supporter to go all the way to become a Trump supporter. So I think more so making sense wouldn't, you know what I mean? I would say for that part, it wouldn't make sense, but if that's their choice.
Well, Mikelen, you just had a birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, man.
All right.
So let's back up. So in the primary, did you have a preferred candidate?
I mean,
Because this is like your fourth election now.
yeah.
Your second. This will be your second election. Second
Yeah, I actually did
presidential
vote.
election.
My dad usually helps me with that stuff because he's like always watching.
That's good.
Political
Always
news.
should listen
Yeah.
to your parents unless you really cannot listen to your parents.
No, I
It's like-
disagree.
It's like so much stuff to like understand that's like going on in the world and stuff like that. So my dad is always like coming to me like, oh, like, did you hear what happened? Or I'll come to him and he'll show me like a recording of like some like news show, like maybe it'll be like MSNBC or something that's been like going on in the world, and it's like so much crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Crazy. So in regards to the primary, or just like what Donald Trump or whatever, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like
Yeah.
how people can support Bernie Sanders, right? Who appeared to be for the people, but then it's like like you said, like you travel all the way across the mountain to go support
Right.
Donald Trump.
Not
Across the mountain, across
know,
the
right.
continent.
Like you go into a whole different world, man.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't think that Donald Trump nor Hillary Clinton are good for the people. If anybody who came close to that responsibility, it would have been Bernie. Should have been Bernie. But Hillary Clinton, she comes with baggage. Donald Trump, man, oh man, don't even want to get into his stuff, man. Just crazy. This dude, what he spews is just absolutely ridiculous and asinine. But Hillary Clinton, she's not all roses and daisies. She's not perfect, but as if nobody is perfect. But there's some things that she's definitely covered up. Some stuff that she still has to answer for and still
Like what?
hasn't. Oh man.
Just give me a couple of examples.
I mean, I think for one, there's some dude, I forget his name. He promised that he would release like some emails on.
You're talking about.
I forget the guy's
the
name.
WikiLeaks Julian
Yeah,
Assange.
yeah, and it
Okay.
just seems as if anyone who was a threat to Hillary's potential presidency or whatever, they all got assassinated. Somehow they just
They got rid of.
I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah,
treading
yeah, they
lightly because I don't want this to be a.
I'm just asking first.
Okay.
First of all,
And the dude who promised to release the WikiLeaks, like there was like some guy who tried to, there was like an attempted assassination.
no, there couldn't have been an attempted assassination because Julian Assange is holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy right now in England. So listen, Julian Assange is well protected in the Ecuadorian embassy right now. So Hillary Clinton,
I'm saying
much to
attempted.
there can be an attempted because he'd be dead right now if there was an attempted. If we really wanted him dead.
So you're trying to
crazy
say
out
that we, as in Hillary Clinton's
No,
camp.
I'm saying as in the United States, because I do think that Julian Assange poses a direct threat to the United States in general. And if WikiLeaks had anything on Hillary Clinton, they probably would have done it during the primary if they really wanted Bernie Sanders. So they had their chance, they blew it, and it's time to.
I do want to get back to the topic here though, because I think that it's interesting that after we, last week we talked about how Trump did a speech and he was saying, if you blacks want any chance, then you need to vote for me. He went all of this. So the fact that there are now the Blacks for Bernie jumping onto Trump's movement, I would like to have conversations with them because I don't understand how, like what in your mind, like how could you just ignore that?
Well, Bruce Carter came back and said that he didn't necessarily mean that he was going to be voting for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. He's more of a Jill Stein supporter and like a good percentage of the Bernie Sanders camp, but I just don't see from an ideological perspective. What Bernie Sanders supported, what Bernie Sanders stood for, how anybody could go to vote for any Republican at this point, unless they were super moderate in general, because, the things that Donald Trump was talking about, black folks, obviously voted Democrat quite a bit over the past few elections. Now, Democrats have taken care of black people in many ways. There have been some failures along the line in terms of policy, whether or not they could get stuff done that they really wanted to, or they had to compromise on certain things. That's a policy perspective. I just realized that we're on a different show.
We're breaking into politics.
We're breaking into politics
right now.
I looked around and I was like,
that's okay.
What is happening? But on the other side of that, Republicans, low-income voters, Republican voters in especially southern states, have overwhelmingly voted Republican their entire life. Yeah. And Republicans, time after time, have, cut benefits, slashed education funding for low-income families and schools in their states, and yet time and time again they vote Republican. And they're not helping them. Right. So Republicans, to me, don't seem to have it quite right. They want to blame the Democrats for crime in Chicago, crime in these inner cities, but what they forget is that if it weren't for Republicans cutting education, education takes up 3% of the. Thank you, Stephen. 3% of the national budget. 3%. Welfare takes up 9% of the national budget right now. So if anything is getting slashed and causing low-income families, it's probably going to be the Republican budget cuts to education and always trying to gut the Department of Education. So
I can agree with that.
Republicans need to take a really hard look at who they're actually voting for, because if it weren't for things like Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, states like Kentucky and whose population overwhelmingly uses the Affordable Care Act and Kentucky Connect would not be in the position that they are right now. But that's just something for you Blacks for Bernie to look at
to
next
research.
time you want to talk about I'm going to be supporting some Donald Trump. Speaking of Republicans, Maine Governor LePage. You guys
LePage.
might remember him. He was the one who said that black and brown drug dealers were coming into Maine and raping white women.
Yeah.
This was last year. Yes. He's come back again because he has more to say about black and brown people. Actually, he left his voicemail, and we're going to play it in just a second. He left his voicemail for a state legislature, and because the state legislator came out and said that he thought he was racist. He did. Let me rephrase that. He did not say that he thought he was racist. He thought that some of the comments could be perceived as racist, and that's not the type of rhetoric that should be coming from the governor's office. So
Ever.
let's play the voicemail.
This is Governor Paul Richard LePage. I would like to talk to you about your comments about my being a racist. And I want to talk to you. I want you to prove that I'm a racist. I've spent my life helping black people, and you little son of a bitch, socialist. I need you to, I want you to record this and make it public because I'm after you. Thank you.
Well, we certainly made it public today.
Exactly.
So, okay, so that happened.
Oh, LePage,
I'm gonna play these
LePage.
videos back. So that happened, and we'll talk about it after. Then he was like, "I stand by that voicemail," blah blah blah, because he wanted it to be public. Then he was like, and everybody started coming down on him. The reporters started coming in the room. So he pulls the reporters into his little conference room. Then he has a little sit down. Then he says a little bit of this.
Guy's a bad guy. I don't care what color it is. When you go to war, if you know the enemy dresses in red and you dress in blue, you shoot at red. Don't shoot. Ken?
He's talking about
You've
redcoats.
been in uniform. You shoot at the enemy. You try to identify the enemy. And the enemy right now, the overwhelming majority of people coming in are people of color or people of Hispanic origin.
So he was talking about the redcoats, like it was 1776, like we were shooting with bayonets. If you remember, Barack Obama talking to Mitt Romney about how we were not using bayonets and he needed to get his, his life together. I mean, let me tell you what, Barack Obama threw some shade, and he can in debates, and I'm very excited to see what Hillary Clinton does in. At the end of this month, in September 20 something is the
I
first
want to
debate.
get to LePage.
But
because-
LePage, so
First of all, the two mediums, the voicemail and the video, they contradict each other.
Absolutely.
You can't say on a voicemail, "I'm not a racist," and continue to cuss people out, and then bring people into your conference room to try to prove why you stand by that, and say that it's a war and the enemy are black people, brown people, and Hispanics.
Right.
Like, you just said that you weren't racist. You saying that black people, brown people, Hispanic people are the enemy is racist. They're the enemy because why? What makes them the enemy? The color of their skin? That is a racist statement. So he literally put these two mediums out, contradicting himself and exposed himself, which is great. And I think that, I don't know if I've ever said this on the show before, but in conversation, one of the greatest things that could have happened with Trump running for president this year is the fact that he's putting the conversation that, what we try to avoid about people being racist, and he's exposing them. He's making them come to the forefront. And I think that we talked about it before, but he's literally putting them all on the front line, and now they have no choice. Even when they speak their opinions and they're trying to do what LePage just did and prove that they aren't racist, you expose yourself because you can't, there's no winning.
And I think I'm kind of shocked, but I'm not really surprised because and I cannot remember. I was watching a CNN special, and I believe it was I can't remember. I want to say it was D.A. Hughley that said this, but he said there's more racist people in these positions, and you don't know it until they go home. So them, when they're in public and they accidentally say the N-word, and we don't say the N-word. It's like, well, no, you feel comfortable to say these type of things when you're at home and you're behind closed doors. You know what I mean? And so, and then to touch on the drugs, as far as him saying it's mostly black people and Hispanic people, and I think a lot of times we forget that. In the 80s, that drugs were infiltrated into the black communities and Hispanic communities back in the 80s from the government and from the system. So for him to say, oh, it's mostly black and Hispanics, in some certain situations, it will be because of these type of things that continue to happen. So that part, I'm just kind of like, really, LePage?
He's absolutely disgusting.
yeah. Where are you from?
I am from LA.
Oh, okay, so you're not from Maine. Good.
Because we were going to go in on you.
Man.
So what did you think about that?
Well, just watching the video and listening to the voicemail, it was very contradicting. It doesn't come as a surprise to me. They present themselves as one thing, to the American public. And there's been, several instances where, you hear about, politicians you know, having secret or having private discussions, you know, amongst, you know, their friends or other politicians, you know, who share their same views, and you hear them spewing that N-word, and, you know, it just sounds as if, you know, they really don't have like that appreciation and respect, you know, for all people, you know, and it's sickening, you know, when you see, you know, how many of them are, you know, they slipping, you know, and I'm glad that it's happening because it's really exposing,
shedding light, yeah.
It's really highlighting and illuminating the racism that still exists today.
So
that
what does
people
that
choose to ignore?
So what does that say? So, you know, I don't know if you guys remember, but here in California, when Governor, what was his name? Gray was recalled before Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor.
Yeah.
What does that say about the people of Maine that they have not worked to recall him yet?
That says a lot. I literally,
Yeah,
I was going to talk about the people of Maine, and I was going to talk about the media. The fact that Governor LePage can come out with a voicemail that's public, come out with a video conference that's public, and say these type of things, and it not blow up to a more extreme. Like this is not all over the media. This is one of the most quietest situations.
Yeah.
If this was anyone else of color, any Hispanic governor, if this was anybody else, this would be everywhere, and they would be dragging him for filth, like revoking him as a governor. So this says a lot for the people of Maine. This exposes who they are and how they feel. And when we look at the polls and the poll numbers, and we want to know why is Trump leading, this is why. Because there are people, like we keep saying, where are the people that support him? Here's the evidence. With the governors and the people that they're leading in their states, they're falling in line.
And stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think so? Do you guys think that it's very not surprising that Donald Trump is to kind of stay quiet on this? I'm not entirely sure if I think that the Clinton campaign should be commenting on this. What do you guys think? Because the Democrats in Maine are calling for a special session to censure him. So do you think that national Democrats, Congressional Black Caucus, everybody should be really forcing the people of Maine to recall their executive?
Yes, because they are supposed to be the voice of all Democrats. So if you are a government official on a national level for the Democratic Party, I need you to be my voice. And no matter what scale that is. When any little thing happens, we expect President Obama to have a press conference to address it, to talk about it, no matter what state it's in. If he's not in Louisiana for the floods, we need you to be here. When he gets here, little things like that. So yeah, I feel like although, the election is happening and so much is going on, I would like Hillary to step up, or even someone from her campaign to step up and say that is absolutely disgusting. Just, I guess.
I mean, I don't know if the campaign has
I don't know if they've said
statement,
anything because this situation is so quiet. Like literally, if we were,
we're too busy worried about Chris Brown and being holed up in his house.
And the VMAs. That's literally what we're distracted by
right now.
So I would like them to be more of my voice. Like I would like to see him removed.
But do you think on some level that the people? So it's like this. People say Republicans got what they chose during the Republican primary. You got what you voted for. And do you think that this goes to state and federal, do you think that the people of Maine really have to do it on their own? Like they really have to come in and say, hey, you got to do it for yourself. You want this guy out, then you want this guy out.
They shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I was about to say, I really think it should be a team effort. I don't think it should just be, this is y'all's problem. Just go ahead and throw it out there and let y'all deal with it. I really think this is, because what is, like we said before, it's going to keep happening and keeps happening because nobody's saying anything. It's one of those things you kind of put the rug over and just kind of sweep it away. And these little things causes big situations that we don't realize when, positions like being governor and saying these things can really cause issues. And so, especially if they're not addressed. So.
Well, the governor has met with his Republican colleagues in Maine. His statement today said that they are looking at all the options right now and whether or not he is going to resign or not. At first, he came out and said that he was not. This is last week. But now they're saying they're starting to look at options. And in politics, that does not always mean good things for the person who's saying that. So we'll definitely be monitoring that a little bit. Look at me. I'm putting my old people glasses.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that I think this was alluding to what you were saying, that the people should come together. I strongly believe that the people need to do something. It is like in our power. We I think that if people realize that we are in control of this shit. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Of that. I think that when you constantly confide in these elected officials, who continue to, exercise a dereliction of duty, you have got to, stand up and, pretty much, lay down, I guess, like, put your foot down and say, like, enough is enough. We're not going to allow for this to continue to happen, because I think that people have become, they've become very complacent and comfortable with just the direction that they, promote to us, or, that they suggest. And I think they yield that absolute power to them. And, if anybody knows, if you're in your right mind, they know that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I think that it would be in our best interest moving forward, presently, whatever, to really get these people out of office, So point out that discrepancy.
According to the last census, Maine was 94% white.
That explains it.
So I don't think Governor LePage is going to be going anywhere with people.
Which just further proves why the people of Maine shouldn't be the only ones leading, this battle. This is why they need help.
There's the state. Here's my thing. That's I believe that the states should decide on their own. The states get a chance to decide their elected officials, and that's the way that our Constitution is designed. That's the way the states' rights are designed. And if Maine's folks want, listen, we watched Jan Brewer in Arizona point her finger at Barack Obama's face. That is her right as the governor to do everything, whatever she wants to do, and the people of Arizona voted her in. Now, we can't just recall her for pointing in Barack Obama's face, even though we want to. But we don't
It's
live
a
in.
threat.
But we don't live in Arizona, and the people of Arizona, have voted in Jan Brewer. Not anymore. She's not the governor anymore. So anyway, speaking of voting. As always, we're going to kind of talk about where the candidates stand on certain issues. So we're going to talk about immigration today because Donald Trump has a big immigration speech tomorrow. So I don't know. Well, he has a big immigration speech tomorrow. So I'm just gonna quickly run through a couple of the positions. Like I said, straight from the website. HillaryClinton.com. Hillary Clinton plans to introduce comprehensive immigration reform, so pushing that with the Democrats. In the 3 and 10-year bars. So that means 3 and 10-year bars force families, especially whose members have different citizenship or immigration statuses, into a heartbreaking dilemma: remain in the shadows or pursue a green card by leaving the country. Defend the president's immigration policies on DACA and DAPA. Enforce immigration laws humanely, which is what Donald Trump tried to pretend. Well, okay. In family detention and close private immigration detention centers. Expand access to affordable health care to all families, which I think Republicans have a huge problem with. Expanding health care, the Affordable Care Act, to illegal immigrants, and promote nationalization. DonaldTrump.com. We'll throw that up there. Of course, his big signature plan is to make Mexico pay for the wall. Triple the number of the wall. No. Okay. Triple the number of ICE officers, even though there's about 50,000 ICE officers right now, but they've tripled the border. So Donald Trump is planning on tripling the number of ICE immigration officers. Nationwide E-Verify, even though we do that already. Mandatory return of all criminal aliens. Okay. Detention, not catch and release. Defund sanctuary cities, which are cities that kind of keep people who are illegal kind of safe. We have a few here in California. And in birthright citizenship. Jill2016.com. She's got a couple of things. Jill Stein. Support immigrants' rights. Create a welcoming path to citizenship for immigrants. Halt deportations and detentions. Improve economic and social conditions abroad to reduce the flow of immigrant refugees. By repealing NAFTA and demilitarize border crossings throughout North America. And JohnsonWell.com. Focus on creating a more efficient system of providing work visas, conducting background checks, incentivizing non-citizens to pay their taxes, obtain proof of employment, blah, 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 blah. Making it simpler, because there's not much on JohnsonWell.com. Making it simpler and more effective to enter the United States legally will provide greater security than a wall. I don't think that a lot of Republicans will agree with that. So you can check those out. HillaryClinton.com, DonaldJTrump.com, Jill2016.com, and JohnsonWell.com.
Something interesting happened just now, and I was trying to contain myself. Like, these are all facts listed on the websites, right? So these are things that we have access to, things that, it's we've been hearing about. We already know that Trump wants to build a wall. We know all of this. But for some reason, when you were going down his list and the way that it was explained, like you can literally go to the website, and the fact that we just talked about Governor LePage, granted, I don't live in Maine. I don't have family that live in Maine, thankfully, no friends. But people still live there. People of color, people who are Hispanic. So while we were going through his plans for immigration, I literally got emotional. If you would rewind the footage, my eyes were literally getting water. And we joke all the time how I'm the emotion of the conversation, how I lead with my heart, because a lot of the times that us as voting Americans, sometimes we don't have all the research. Sometimes we don't know all the facts, and sometimes politics isn't it isn't attractive. We don't want to talk politics. We don't want to do politics, but we want to live better. We want to feel good about who we're voting for. So with that going, just with us going through the facts that are on the websites that you can research yourself, I just was taken back. Not that I've been daydreaming or sleepwalking through all that's been happening in the past few years or since I've been able to vote. It was just like a slap in the face. Like it really hit me as we were
to hear it out loud, to hear the words out loud.
This isn't an opinion. This isn't an opinion. These are literally facts that you plan to put in place against people. There is no humanity in that. I don't care where you stand on the spectrum, whether you're Democratic or Republican. Like at the end of the day, you're not better than me. I'm not better than you. Nothing separates us. We still bleed. If you shoot either of us, we both will die. And I don't know if it's just a lack of humanity. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe I'm a people person. Maybe, I want to see all people do great, and that's not everyone, and I understand that. But it just took me back, and it really just pissed me off in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little tough. I mean, if I look at HillaryClinton.com or I look at JillStein.com and even a little bit the Johnson Weld website as well, they're a little more positive in their approaches. Immigration is the backbone of the nation, and to try to reverse that somehow or to stop that from happening. People say, so if I said the word immigration to you or to anybody, they would immediately think Mexican, and they forget that the Latino population, the Hispanic population here in the United States is not the only immigrant group here in the United States. So you got folks from Australia, you got folks from the United Kingdom, you got folks from Canada. So you're just going to build a wall around the whole country
thing,
because eventually those folks are going to want to come over here, or they're not, because Donald Trump will be president. So which we don't want that to happen because a lot of those countries bring great ideas here, and as we know. Immigrants always do the work that a lot of Americans pretend like they want to do, but they really don't want to do.
Absolutely.
So you can, like I said, you can check all those out on their websites.
And pay attention to the effort, in the way that these candidates are going through, immigration laws or just different things. Pay attention to the effort. There are some people who will list what they want to do and explain to you exactly what that means and how they want to do it. Right. And there are others that will just list it, and however you take it is however you take it. And it's like, no, I need you.
I truly mean this. Go to DonaldJTrump.com, read those lists, because there's a lot. That page is very long. Because that's a signature issue. And it's a lot of gibberish on there as well. But if you go to HillaryClinton.com, I'm just saying this as if you go to HillaryClinton.com, to Elayna's point, there's paragraph. And then at the bottom, there's a thing that says, click here for a fact sheet, or click here for more, or whatever it says.
Now, that doesn't mean...
And it expands into more detail about where she's going to take that plan. Right. And she's one of the only ones that really does that. The Johnson Weld website is literally 2 paragraphs.
So with me saying that doesn't mean that whoever has the longest paragraph is automatically right. No, it's about
details.
Giving us access to be able to get into your brain, to get into your plan, and to be able to really do the research. I can't do research off of a sentence. Right. Because what does that even mean? So that's what I'm saying.
Right. So check those out, and we'll be back next week with we're not leaving right now. But we'll be back next week with with another topic, depending. So to check out Donald Trump's immigration speech tomorrow. Yes. Mike Lamb. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
I know that was like a mouthful. Sorry.
So you're a spoken word artist. You got some stuff
Something
going,
like
something
that.
like that.
Something like
So, just a little background. More than a hashtag, Danielle Truitt, who was on our show a couple weeks ago, that I moderated. Mikelen was a performer there, and I was sitting there and I was like, we gotta have him on the show. We gotta have him come here on this show and do a couple things. So, welcome to the show. Let's start with. I know you got a performance piece because I want to get the first part in, and then we'll go into some questions for you, and then he'll close out the show with another performance for us.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
let's cue up the music,
Man.
and whenever you're all ready.
Hey, can we turn this up a little bit? Okay. All right. Check it. Listen, yo, the most beautiful woman he laid eyes on. A pretty face, her smile brings out her cheekbones. When she speaks, he's intellectually mind blown. Sneaking candid off guard pictures on his iPhone. Too timid to make a move because he's in the friend zone. If she gets away, I promise she'll be long gone. Can't find love, but wishes he isn't left alone. Probably won't develop the courage until it hits home. To keep it real, I used to be in the same boat. Nowadays, treading through water, trying to stay afloat. Walk a tightrope, coming from the hood where dying spirits have lost hope. Yet a struggle was cutthroat. Watching from afar, I'm seeing people who selling dope, living reckless, picking up hookers and then resort to coke. Changes your perspective when you witnessing it up close. Guessing that's what happens when you travel down a dark road. Oh my God, man.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. That was good. And we were like, hey! That was good. That was good. Was that the piece that you said that you wrote recently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn
so
it.
that was good. No, that was
No,
great.
that was
I
awesome.
knew
That
I
was
was about
good.
to
No,
run
no,
out of
no.
breath.
I literally was getting hot.
That was great. I was like, oh, okay. We got folks in the chat room, and I guess your friend Markel says Mike's so nervous, but I don't think you're very nervous right now. I think he's doing
am,
just
man.
fine. But then he says, spit a nice flow for us, bro. So he's
Aw.
got one more coming up a little bit later, and but I'm excited to hear about that. And yeah,
I wasn't even finished.
Well, you know what? Just with the part with what you just spit out, can you give us a little insight on the motivation behind writing it?
Yeah.
Like, who are you actually talking about? A woman, or are you actually talking about America? What are you talking about?
Okay.
It's not that
Well,
deep.
the inspiration behind it, I just did a feature film called Summerland, and the director asked me if I could, write like some poetry or write a rap, for the movie, because he knows that, I do poetry and things like that. And I had been trying to, get over this writer's block that I had been suffering from, like, for, a few months, because I had put the pen down, and this was like the perfect opportunity for me to, kind of find that drive, get that knack back, and, find that source of inspiration, that I had been so desperately trying to search and find again. So this is like what I came up. I wrote this maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
yeah. When I sent him a message, he was like, I got a new one. I was like, yeah, let's do that one too.
Yeah. I thought that this was like one of my best, even though I didn't even get to finish.
It's okay. It's
okay.
all right. It's
You
all
got another
right.
performance after
This is my first radio show, y'all. So anyway,
We'll have you back, and then you can do it again.
thank you.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, so, I thought that this was like my best piece that I had written so far. And, I hold myself to very high standards when it comes to art. Whether that's, music, whether that's acting, drawing. Well, I'm good with some stick figures, but that ain't the point. So, it was good to, get it back and, recapture that. And, it was really about, the first half of the rap is about the movie. So, Summerland, it's about this guy named Jimmy who comes to Camp TP for the first time, and he sees this girl that he's absolutely infatuated with. But he doesn't have the courage to, tell her how beautiful she is. So that's what that is. And, I usually try to let the words, paint the picture for me and, and take me on this ride. And, it's, I try to segue into, okay, how does this affect me personally? Okay, I just touched on your issue and, your challenges. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about, my challenges, and not just the challenges that I personally face, but also other people from the Black community. So, I really try to include a lot of different things in there. I don't want to just talk about one specific topic. I want to talk about just a potpourri of things. And, you know,
Ooh, that's a good
hopefully,
word.
you know,
Oh, I
some,
love that.
yeah, I got a personal dictionary of like over 1,000 words that I'm always adding to. So yeah, I like to talk about, you know, just a bevy of things, you know, because you never know who could relate to it.
Right.
You know, if I'm just talking about one thing, then I'm limiting myself to just one audience, you know, but if I'm talking about, you know, a whole mixture, you know, of different things, then, you know, it could, you know, I guess the word will proliferate, or, you know, the message will disseminate, you know, further, and it'll expand.
Listen.
He better use
you
these
better
big
use them
words. Look
You better
at
use that
him. He
dictionary.
better use these big words.
Got me Googling. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
You
just
know what?
joking.
Hey, it comes, and this is for anybody else watching. This comes from watching a lot of Stephen A. Smith.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith. If you guys don't know who he is, look him up, man. Like, he is a ESPN.
Yeah, so I was like,
analyst.
are you talking about ESPN,
Yeah,
Steven Smith? Okay.
That's Stephen A. Smith, man.
I was like, is there another one that I don't know? Is there some author out there? I was like, you talking about ESPN, Steven Smith? Got it.
Yeah, so he's like a talking dictionary, man. So,
Yeah.
you know, I actually on my DVR right now, I have like, you know, I'm behind on like 69 episodes. Look, I was filming.
69.
69 episodes
I know, usually if
on
you behind-
ESPN.
Yeah. So, you know, I got to catch up on my episodes, but, you know, I got a nice list of words right here.
Got his composition notebook like Harry the Spy over there, ready to go.
It's like my Bible, man.
Like, did you watch the Get Down? It reminds me of the kid.
I'm
main
excited
character
to
in
watch
the
the
Get
Get
Down.
Down. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I haven't
On
started. I'm
Netflix.
excited to
Gosh.
get into it.
It's awesome.
I heard that the Get Down, it was like the highest budget.
It's Baz Luhrmann. It's huge. I mean, it's
awesome
yeah.
show.
It's awesome show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
So
tune into that.
I want you to take us through a few more of your projects. I know that you just worked on, or you didn't. You worked on It's Just a Gun, which will possibly be nominated for an Oscar or a Grammy. You did Snow Cloud. Emmy, not
Sorry,
Grammy.
I don't mean to correct you, but you know.
No.
Could get a
No.
could get a
I
Grammy.
need it. No. You guys, the reason that I said Grammy is because, you know, the Drake and Future concert is coming up. And he'd be like, they gonna think I want a Grammy. Sorry, it's totally digressing.
She's
It's
on a whole-
okay. So we know that it might possibly be nominated for an Emmy or an Oscar. You also worked on Rebel, which will be premiering on BET. We had another guest on our show.
Danielle Truitt.
That's my sister
From a
from
couple weeks
another
ago.
mister.
Can you talk about working on that project as well? How was it? What was going through your mind, even with the strong female lead for it?
Yes. Well, it is a bit of a story to that. Man, I remember I had went in for another project that John Singleton was coming out with that I think will be coming out, I think this year, later on, like maybe like November or like October. But it's called, Snowfall. Snowfall. And that
That's
was
on
like
like TNT. He's got a new
FX.
show. FX. He's
FX.
yeah.
FX. So that was my first time ever going in, you know, for John Singleton, and you know he's like highly like known and like, you know, revered in the black community. He's an icon, you know what I'm saying? And you know, when I went in there, shout out to my manager, by the way. This dude gets me
Shout out to
in
the
for
manager.
so many different projects.
Right.
Bill Kravitz,
your
what's up?
manager.
So I went in, and you know, I was like so nervous, like my heart was just beating through my chest. And I had told John Singleton, and I think I don't know if he'll remember it, but I think it was something that really stood out to him. I told him that, you know, my job is to come in here, give you my interpretation, and, you know, hope that you like it. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, come in there premeditating stuff and like, oh, I hope everything goes perfectly, you know, because usually, you know, when you're very visceral and you let things, you know, just emanate naturally, you know, that's where, you know, the beauty really blossoms, you know, and there's authenticity and realness in that. And, you know, John Singleton, if anybody knows about John Singleton, he
is
comes from the
very
streets.
Yeah, he's
He
talented,
identifies with realness and authenticity. So I'm glad that he was able to, you know, kind of see that in me. And, you know, I guess one of
And in Rebel,
Yeah.
Michael T. I'm sorry, Michael T.
Michael
Williamson from Forrest Gump, played Bubba Gump, is your father. Or no?
Oh, on the
in
show.
The show.
Oh,
Not your
oh.
actual father.
Oh,
Your-
yeah.
on the show.
Like, no,
on Rebel, Michael T.
But
Williamson plays your father.
working on that, just getting back to that. I'm sorry, I'm so long-winded.
No, it's okay. No, it's totally
carried
fine.
It was amazing. Working with Danielle Truitt, she is the truth. That is her nickname that I have, you know, pretty much ordained her. Like, she is the truth. The girl is just absolutely amazing. She is gonna blow some folks away when this show come out. Michael T is like relative to a mentor for me. I didn't even know who the guy was. I
Did
didn't
not grow. See, that is aging all of
See,
us.
I know, right?
And
I'm like,
definitely
man.
how young he is. I'm like,
Not
Bubba Gump.
me.
Duh.
I
He's like, I didn't even know who it was.
You done made us feel real. That's my movie.
Right. You know, and like people be like, "What? You don't know Michael T. Forrest Gump?" Like, Forrest Gump. You know, I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I've only seen bits and pieces. I know it's sad.
Next time you come back on this show, you better have watched.
That's
Forrest
your
Gump.
homework assignment.
That's your homework assignment.
That's your homework assignment.
Put that in that
But you know
competition
what?
notebook over there.
In support of Michael T, I did go see The Purge. Okay, you know what? Nah, I'm done.
It's on Netflix. Go watch.
I saw The Purge, but I didn't see Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was before my time. You know.
No, that's not an excuse. I might be the youngest at the table, and
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's so
no.
funny.
Oh my God.
Well, in our chat room, you got some love from Baltimore. So
Love from
just
Baltimore.
So we're rooting for you in Baltimore.
Oh,
Tea
that's
leaf.
my sister.
Oh, there you go. There
Yeah,
you
Baltimore.
go. Well, we
What's
definitely
up, sis?
we definitely want to get to your last performance real quick, but before we do that, B is going to trend us out
Yes,
for
I'm
just
going
a
to
little bit.
speed through this real quick. So, what's going on in the trending world? First off, the 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, hope I'm saying his name right, has been really catching headlines because he did not stand for the national anthem. Yep. And so he quoted by saying, "I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people." And so from politicians to celebrities, everybody's been tweeting about it, and it's been kind of split. Some people have been saying like, "Oh, I can't believe he did that, and he's supposed to, love the country." Other people are like, "Look, hey," you know what I mean? And so I did my own personal little research. Me and my husband did, because I really wanted to see the reason behind, why he didn't want to stand up, because I was kind of mixed too about it. Mm-hmm. And so it says that the Star Spangled Banner there's a verse that's missing from the song that we never get to.
Francis Scott.
Right, and so I did not know that. So there's a piece in there that says, there's some of the lyrics that says, "No refuge could save the hurling of the killing of the slaves from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave, and the Star Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave." And so that was pretty interesting. So now it kind of makes sense as to why, he kind of is choosing to not really stand up as far as the Star Spangled Banner kind of being pro-slavery during that time. And then the next one is that Dwayne Wade and Trump. That Trump. So sadly, Dwayne Wade was his cousin, right? His cousin. She was shot outside in Chicago. Just and so
pushing the stroller.
Right, pushing a stroller. And so sadly, Trump sends out a tweet and says, "Dwayne Wade's cousin was just shot and killed walking her baby in Chicago. Just what I have been saying. African Americans will vote for Trump."
he then recalled the tweet and sent out something else.
No, he didn't recall the tweet. No, he didn't recall the tweet.
No.
Whoa.
Not recall
misspelled Dwayne Wade's name in the first tweet, retweeted it back out with
And
the
then
right,
said it
and then
exactly.
said it again, then said it
And I'm
follow-up.
actually shocked
4
that
hours later.
Yeah, and I'm actually
And then
shocked
he changed what the tweet initially said, though.
No, we didn't, because I still have it tweeted up. You can follow me on my little Twitter, and you can find it right on scroll on down.
And I'm actually shocked that Gabrielle Union hasn't said anything, because she's feisty and she's usually like
Dwayne probably said no.
Not yet,
Because
he's grieving. He's probably going through a lot, and he's probably like, just wait, because I know she's probably like, wait, Trump, keep the weight out your mouth. Don't say anything else.
Right.
And then lastly, even though Drexel decided to call people out, I did want to touch on the VMAs that did happen. And so of course we know that Beyonce did an awesome job. And one thing I did want to point out is that what was really great is that she walked the red carpet with the mothers of the slain victims from police brutality. There, that was really, really awesome. And then also Alicia Keys kind of touched on it and made it kind of political as far as getting your voice heard and go out and vote. And I think she's pro-Hillary, but and I just thought it was a really, really good show. Rihanna, obviously, at the top of the show, she had her moments where she was able to get her love from Drake and all that good and all that good stuff. So that is what's going on around the world, guys.
Well, we were going to grab one more performance out of you today, so we're gonna have to come back, and you're gonna have to do that second one.
Yeah, I get to
Because
come
here
back.
here at Black Hollywood Live and After Buzz, we have shows going all the time, and there's always another show
Yes.
coming after this. But we have a lot of other great guests coming up later this month. I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Mikelen, for coming out.
Thank
Today
you
we're
so
very
much.
excited
So
about
much.
Rebel. Next week is our 20th episode, so we're gonna figure out. We're gonna have something very special next week. I don't know. We're gonna do something.
I better be here for that.
Yeah,
No,
we got
I better
to
be here for
We'll
that.
just bring all the guests back.
Oh my God.
It's
It'll
our
party.
20th
Do a
episode.
party,
We'll
lots of
do a
shots,
little
some
party.
champagne, everything.
We'll see where everybody is. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Drexel Heard.
You can find me at Hey It's Lay.
You can follow me at B Sorrells.
Where can they find you on Instagram?
Instagram, peaceful_influence, PEACEFUL_influence, INFLUENCE. Or you can follow me on Snapchat at genuine_moments. Do I gotta
No, you're
good.
spell it all? If you know how to spell genuine,
I
please.
am headed to my next show, Trump vs. Hillary, which you can check right after this show on AfterBuzz TV, and we'll see you all again next week. See you later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Keven Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.